Hi, my name's Amanda Ames, and I'm a product designer and sustainable brand strategist at the school Broby Grafiska here in Sweden. I'm very grateful to be part of this day. I hope you all had a great time to understand light more and listening to loads of interesting lectures. I'm going to talk about smart lighting, the technology, and what my studio does with it in different ways, and hopefully how you could be utilizing this type of technology in your home or at office. Most of it's been connected together now during this troubled time we're in. And I'm hoping that my work can be of some inspiration on how you can be creative with this type of technology. For you who don't know of it, smart lighting is basically a lot of intelligence in a bulb that's being communicated in a digital way. So through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, you can control lighting in any kind of setting through different kind of add-ons and devices, and you can make it work in your mood and different kind of temperatures, and let it communicate a lot with your everyday life. So starting with that, let's set the correct mood, because we're in the afternoon now. So I'm going to go in for a bit more of a warmer light. Great. My studio, a multidisciplinary design studio, we get briefs that comes from far and east. They're very various, and it can be a client who needs a facelift in products, or it can be a company such, for example, Philips, that wants to engage the expos and get more experience into that. My personal inspiration when it comes to design and specifically lighting is that comes from nature, and how, as a creator, you can combine your creativity with nature and building a bridge. One of my favorite architects of all time is Tadao Ando. He made this gorgeous church in Osaka. This was 1989. Quite brutalistic and concrete structure, but that utilizes negative space and so to create this light experience. And that's something very important, I think, with light. It's personal, and it can be both religious as it can be just in any kind of way inspiring. And we tend to try and strive that way when we work in our briefs. Our briefs can look a bit like this. We have clients that are in kind of different, environments, in this case, expos, trying to, push their products and having a various amount of light sources. And you would see this even in a warehouse if you'd go and looking for a specific fixation. And it's very difficult to understand how light works when being presented this way. So our job is definitely to try and take this type of technology, seeing all its kind of purposes and abilities, and move it into a more emotional experience. This was our latest show, The True Man Show, which we were presenting here in Stockholm in February. This has quite both a dystopic and question mark to it when it comes to what light can mean in the future. For you who know the film starring with Jim Carrey, it's about a man living in a controlled society, a bubble that's completely monitorized from above. And ironically, one of the light fixations actually falls from the structure, and that's when he starts to investigate what's going on. When we looked at this kind of idea of an expo, showing everything from home lighting to office lighting, everything that kind of, connects to a home, we also wanted to ask the question, what could this be in the future? Me coming from Sweden, having quite a low set of light during the hours, and also winter months are hard on us, we maybe would need something like this that could actually assist our daily mood maybe as well. The things we did in that expo was also to play with light fixations. Often we try and be quite simple in our planning. We put one lamp in the middle, making an equal spread, but it's not really creating a good emotion in that environment. It's being very functional, which works fine if you want to clean your house 24 hours a day. In this case, however, is the fact we have different moods during our time and day. We want to have social activity. We want to be focused. We want to be relaxed. We want to feel focused on cooking, or we want to have a nice dinner. And here we played and did some structures where we even put light fixations together. Seeing this window, that's actually 6 individual lamp armatures that you could now, we kind of assemble them together, making an idea of a window. Could give you some thoughts. Could this be a possible solution in my office where I have no light source, or at least no natural light? Here I also want to show you how you can be playful with the environment. If you get a lamp not to talk more about itself, but rather get the surfaces around you lit up, you're creating a much more ambient experience that also doesn't irritate on the eyes. Because lamps, when they talk more about themselves, it's not really we forget the focus. It becomes an art object at sometimes. And I'm not saying that lamps can be beautiful, gorgeous things that you definitely want to hang up as a masterpiece. But in this time we're in now, when we're maybe lacking the experience of outdoors, we can definitely simulate this in our home. This is one of my favorite projects I did just 2-3 years ago. This is an image of Stockholm in February from one of our local royal gardens. Ironically, it's definitely not royal, and we can nearly put one Pantone color on this photo. When we do our research, we sometimes, in this case, fly up a drone, getting a headshot to really see what can we do here. And I think, and I don't know about you, but any type of color or light would fit well here. Imagine being a commuter in this environment, whether it's morning or evening. There won't be much experience going on, maybe dull, and maybe a potential depressive solution, or not solution, but depressive outcome. We wanted to turn this environment into a more interesting experience. This was a collab with Stockholm Design Week, that they wanted to create more people to come to the expos. And by doing that, by instead having just a board saying, hey, the expo's now, these are the dates, here's the tickets, we wanted to play with light as a communicator. The lighthouse, which is a kind of skeleton or a blueprint of a structure of a house, is something that lights up during this whole week and changes color moods depending on what hour of the day it is. If it's morning, it's a sunrise. If it's during that lunchtime, it's maybe blue and cold light that just gives you an energetic kick. And then it moves forward throughout the day in the same kind of temperatures as our natural light does. And again, going back to that main picture, you were seeing that it's sometimes light doesn't change as much. It can get possibly lighter or darker, but we don't get such strong nuances depending on weather. And that's unfortunate here in Sweden. This became a melting pot. People were really engaged in this environment. And we had these 4 different Narnia doors, as I call them, that would transport the visitor into different locations during this design week. They could go up to the north, they could go to a specific fair, they could go to the modern museum, all was being informed in these televisions and communication elements, and created bridges with this type of technology. I want to finally just talk about how important it is to look at smart lighting, not only in the home, but also in the way where it can be inspiring in new locations. Look at the locations around you, whether if it's your commute space or a public space, an existing structure that has not really been lifted. Maybe there's possibilities to use smart lighting in those locations to create a more interesting experience. Smart lighting is not just, a switch here and there that can maybe transport a bit to your mood. It can be so much more. It could be a communicator of danger. It could maybe get people to walk a certain way and get people more engaged with each other. It can be a space that is energetic and playful and safe and warm. It could be possibly northern lights when you're going down the escalator to your tube. We should look at locations that we spend quite a lot of our time and re-evaluate if we can improve it somehow. And of course, there's regulations. Of course, there's always difficulties in front of all of that. But I love to work with this type of technology and seeing its possibilities. So finally, I just want to leave you with this thought that using this type of technology in creative ways can definitely lead to not only a change in your circadian rhythm, or just trying to get light to be more human and connected with you. You can reinvent new space, and you can, with small space, feel bigger, and you can definitely make this interesting kind of outcome because the technology allows you to be creative. Thank you very much.